Game Time Tennis, what's going on? Hey, it is a new year. Um, man, and I got some things in the works, man. I got a big giant calendar up here with one, two. Man, my month is filled already. Just with stuff that I got that I'm ready to bring you guys. So, with that being said, this is the first of a long segment of interviews that I have been wanting to put out for a very long time. And then you guys get to see some players that I've had a chance to work with, be a part of, and a dive into what their lives look like and what tennis has provided for them. I think this is a great avenue to start off with for the year. What mindsets they have, and maybe some of the mindsets and thought processes can go to you guys. If you are struggling with a mental focus on the court, off the court, mentally breaking down in certain situations, I have the perfect thing for you. The link is in the description, and it's only going to cost you 99 cents right now. It is not going to be that low. You have 15 days to go get this ebook at 99 cents, or it is going to skyrocket. It has helped so many people already. All right, but without further ado, easily my favorite interview so far because it's the first one, and because of who it's with, man. So love y'all and enjoy. All right, all right, game time tennis. So we have here Nya Cheatham, my sister, my blood sister, and we just gotta have some questions coming along, man. I figured that my first interview would be somebody who not only has my last name, which is dope, but who has their own story for the tennis experience. So welcome, Nya, to Game Time Tennis.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, so let's jump right into it. First, um, when did you start playing tennis? What age?
I think I was either 4 or 5.
All right. What got you into tennis?
All right, so what really got me into tennis is that the fact that you were playing tennis, um, and you got hurt, and me being a competitive sibling,
Mhm.
it was something that you play. I didn't play, so I said I'm gonna sign up because I have to learn how to be my brother. And then I actually just got interested into the game.
Okay. All right. That's what's up. Yes. It's a different transition for me from all the other sports to tennis. But it seemed like it really just rolled in really well for you. I will be the first to say that your game was almost like second nature, like took off really smooth and easily. Um, but let's fast forward. So let's say we're in your junior year going into high school. Now you've played from the time you were little all the way through middle school. Now you're in high school. Um, People want to know how to get recruited. What did you do different or better or worse that got you to where you ended up landing?
Let's say, okay, so at first I was doing, USTA tournaments.
Okay.
And there will always be coaches out there. I didn't know. Some of them were just parents of the other people who I were playing, or, people just walking around. So they were always watching me without me knowing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think at a point in time, I just was like, okay, cool. I'm just going to start recording one of my practices, and I put it up on YouTube. And from there, it kind of rolled in as far as recruiting. So people just looked at, USTA tournaments, whether it's my practices from whatever I posted on YouTube. It just kind of came together.
Okay. All right. And I think at the time period that we were kind of growing up, where most people don't know, but we're 5 years and one day apart. So what I did first, what I experienced first, um, she kind of took it and enhanced it. So it was really cool to watch that experience. I think back then, I think the biggest thing was if you want to be recruited, your rankings got to be high enough. I know tennis recruiting, going onto their website and looking up your state ranking and your national ranking, looking if you played some two, three, four, 5-star players, some blue chip players, um, and then kind of using that with your USTA ranking, really kind of solidify like, hey, look, this particular set of skills coordinates with this kind of college. Would you say that was pretty much our experience coming up then?
For the most part, yes. It's just like if you can play against a top player, they want to see how well you do. So USCA again, playing against foreigners or whoever I came across with, didn't matter how tall or short or whatever they look like. As long as I could keep up with it, then they knew they can improve me from there.
Right, right. I definitely agree. Um, and it was just something different, man. Like the whole process of being into whole process of being into you know, just the
Hey
tennis
man,
world
if you
was
enjoyed that
absolutely different.
interview,
Calling on
leave
coaches
a
and things like
like
that.
down below.
I mean,
Like,
it
comment, and
was crazy.
subscribe.
So
You
I
have seen
personally think
nothing
that
yet.
our
The
experience
next interview
then
is with
is
a
completely
very
different
good friend of
from
mine.
what kids now
On the
experience or how
tour,
they get recruited.
For
top 800 in
sure.
the world. It's only
Man,
been on the
so
tour for pretty much about a year and a
let's
half.
kind of take a dive.
Stupid
So,
talent.
were
Can't wait to
you
see him
as successful as you wanted to
kill the
be
top
in
200
USTA?
with his amazing talent
Oof.
and his grit and grace. So,
Um,
man, hey, if you're not
no, I
subscribed, you're
definitely
going
could
to
have
miss
got
that
higher. I definitely could
video.
have got higher
And
for
that
sure.
video is a
It's
banger, too,
just
man. Hey,
I was
check
nervous.
the E
I don't know.
book
Tiebreakers were like
out.
a thing for me. With
Check
it's
the E
the last
book
minute
out.
thing.
It's in the
So
description.
tiebreakers
It's 99 cents.
would
Go
get me
find
every
you
time. So I
99
did champ
pennies
up,
and
but I
go
aged up at the
get
same time. So
to
that
it.
didn't work. And I think I supered
It's
up,
mental
but I
focus shit,
aged up at
baby.
the same
Go
time. So
get it
that didn't
done.
work. And
Love
it
y'all.
just was like
Peace.
at the when people looked, I probably was a champ, but I was playing against supers all the time. So what they really kind of saw in USCA, you had to watch me play rather than looking at what I'm named under.
So for people who don't know, so Texas went through a period of time which champs and supers and zats don't even exist anymore. It's just
Yeah, I didn't even know
crazy.
that.
Yeah, they don't even exist anymore. It's a whole new world with UTR rankings. But Texas went through a period where to be ranked, they would call you a ZAT, which is a zone area tournament, or a champ or a super champ. You had to accumulate a certain number of points within a certain number of tournaments to move up to the next ranking or the next tier. And then you play people in that tier. So you had 3 tiers: your Zats, your champs, and your supers. Um, and so that that in itself, I mean, you could be a Zat and be just as good as a champ or a super champ. I mean, it was all how you perform when the lights were on. And I think that's one of the biggest things that people really just don't understand. Like, you could be better than the players that are ranked higher than you. UTRs are starting to show people very fast that, hey, look, like, he's an 8 or a 9. For example, like, now you know Silas Sandals, former player of mine. So Silas is like, I think he's like an 8 something, which shows his level, per se. Players like Daniela would be like an 8 or a 9 or something like that. Just to kind of put in perspective what this UTR is versus Zaz champs and super champs now. Um, and both of them were super champs before the UTR system came into play. So that kind of tells you, what a super champ looks like in Texas, or what it used to look like. Um, Man, it was a very different road. But mentally, um, were you able to overcome what it looked like, because you ended up playing for a college? So did you ever get past the mental block of maybe playing in some of those tighter matches when you had to play in, your tiebreakers, or did it just become a different feel when you got to college? Like, did your coach tell you something different, or did you just grow up? Like, what changed?
Um, so yeah, I did. Ooh. Okay, for a moment, I definitely did come over tiebreakers because how I champed up, which happened on Mother's Day, was through the longest tiebreaker ever. So
Yeah.
it was just like, all right, we're here, forget it. Like, can't get scared of that anymore. So then I did that, and then as soon as I got to college, I think my first match was against a foreigner, and it was just I need to go out there and play my game. I don't care what I play, how I play it. I gotta play my game. So I went out there at first. Not gonna lie, she was beating my butt. But it was
Been
my
there.
first match and I was scared. So second set came and I'm coming back full force because you're not gonna beat me like that. I'm just not gonna let you. That's just my mentality. I'm about to work 50 times harder. So I
Mm-hmm.
came back and I think I won the second set. And by the third set, there go that tiebreaker. First
Mm-hmm.
match ever at college, there goes that tiebreaker. So now I have to keep it up.
Yeah.
And I actually pulled it out. I pulled it out. But I couldn't get scared. It was just me. I can't think about the past point. I
Mm-hmm.
gotta play what's now. So that's how I was doing it. And I see that the way I was playing, I'm defeating this girl.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's just focus on the now, forget what happened.
You know what? I think a lot of players get stuck like that. They snowball very fast.
For
Um,
sure.
and it's the players that won't allow 4 or 5 points in a row, bad points in a row, to snowball on them that really show those mentally tough players. You see your Serenas, and shout out to Serena Williams. You see your Feds and your Nadals, like those players that can lose 5 or 6 points, and then they go back and just like destroy the field,
Like nothing ever
like
happened. Yeah.
nothing ever happened. That is a mental toughness that a lot of people don't have,
You
and
gotta learn
that
it.
you have to learn it. And I think that separates the really good players, or the players who skill wise can hit the ball, versus those players who feel like who are far above those players, and it's mental. It's not, it's everybody can hit the ball once you get to college, especially if you play a really competitive game or really competitive, conference. Everybody can hit the ball. Everybody's strokes may not look the same, but everybody can hit the ball.
Everybody can hit the ball.
And
So it don't
so,
matter how hard you can hit it, people can get it back. You gotta do placement. You gotta read your court. You gotta read your person. It's
yes,
literally the most mental game. What's another game that's mental? I guess you could say chess. Everybody talks
chess,
about chess. It's
yes,
a mental thing. Tennis is when I tell you a mental game. Oh, it's
yes,
crazy.
yeah. And it gets, and people don't understand like how mental tennis really is. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think people get it. Like, I think people just think, and this is for non-tennis players looking into the sport. I think people go and say, "Oh, you play tennis? Oh, okay, cool. I can do that too." Yes, you could play tennis, but can you play at the level I play at? Whole different world. With my training, could you play at the level I play at? Still, whole different world.
Oh,
And I think one of the things that helped us mentally kind of overcome a lot of things, and I know there was still some mental lapse in the end of our playing days and things like that. Some things that if we knew now what we knew what back then, it would be a whole different game. But I think one of the things that helped us is not playing players that were our age all the time.
I think in my group growing up, I was the baby. So it was me and J4.
Yeah, and
We were the babies, and everybody else is like
yeah.
5 years older than us.
And Game Time Tennis, you will get to know J4 very well. Have something
That's
lined up
the
with him
homie.
coming up pretty soon, man. I'm excited about that one too. But he will tell you that, yeah, you guys will see. I won't ruin it, but yeah, growing up, we grew up in a program that didn't favor age as a deterring factor of what level you were in, and you could say that DTA was the start of UTR, because UTR doesn't have an age requirement, it's a skill requirement. we've been playing a UTR style tennis our whole
Our
lives
life, our whole life.
because, and I know y'all probably think we're crazy, but there were 10-year-olds playing against 18-year-olds, and it was just normal. It's like, oh well.
You stepped on the court, I gotta play you. I
I
mean, it
gotta
didn't
play
even
you.
matter who you were. Yeah.
And so I think that kids get so wrapped up in, you know, training with this group or training with that group. I know there's so many country clubs that, separate you by UTRs now. Hey, you're a 6. If you're a girl, you're a boy, you 10, you 4, you 19, you're a 4 or a 6 or whatever your ranking is. So you play with this group. And I think people get mentally messed up about that. I think one of the things that, looking at the UTR system now, and you can tell me if you think it's the same, looking at the UTR system now, where each person starts off at either unranked or you start off based off of like past USTA tournaments and things like that, past tournaments, they filter you in to say you're probably at this level, right? But looking at that, I think one of the things that gets people is I'm a 4, even though I deserve to be a higher number, a 7 or an 8. I deserve to be this. I've beat 7s and 8s before, but I'm only a 4. I think people really don't take a step back to say there must be something I'm missing. There must be something that I need at this level to push me all the way up to the top of where I need to be. For me, I was a champ for I was a Zap player for too long, and I was beating champs and super champs like handedly. And we're not talking about like close matches. We're talking about like 6'1", 6'2", like, and older than me. And I was just like, you can speak to it. Was that not true?
That's true for both of us. That's what I'm saying, that the word didn't fit us. You just had to watch us play.
Yes. And so one of the things for me that really, I think, credited my continued growth and really sparked more growth from high school going into college was, for me, it was my serve. And my serve was like 40%. When it went in, it was a monster. When it went in,
When it went in.
when it went in. And so I had Elmer, one of our old coaches, man. I had Elmer. I remember it to this day. And the way where we trained at is set up as the courts 1 and 2 are at the very top of this hill. So it's like 1 and 2, then 3 and 4, then 5, 6, then 7 and 8 is in the middle. You got 9, 10, 11, 12 on those very bottom, at the bottom of this hill. And then you got 13 and 14 all the way on the other side of the it's
It
weird.
Make sense.
It doesn't make sense, but whatever, right? So 7 and 8 are technically the center courts, not 1 and 2. So, but we were on court 5 and we're all serving. And I could hear Elmer telling me right now, you gotta toss the ball higher. Like, you're never gonna. And I had this short toss, and it wasn't getting me anywhere. And I was losing because I was double faulting way too much, or just babying a serve in and getting destroyed. Now, let me get the point started. Oh, we could play. But they weren't letting me because right off the bat, boom, I'm losing off the serve. And I remember saying, I'm so tired of him just telling me to toss the ball up. You want me to toss the ball up? Fine. And I tossed the ball up extra high in the air, being extra because I'm just irritated because my serve isn't working. Boom. I hit the most beautiful serve ever. And I was like, And he looked at me and I looked at me like, did that just happen?
How you look at yourself?
Mentally, I looked at.
Okay. All right.
See, having a sister. So, but mentally, I was like, that really just worked. Like that. I've been trying to figure this whole thing out by myself, and me not wanting to listen, and then one day it just the light bulb. I love that light bulb moment. What was your light bulb moment that transitioned your game?
I think I have two. So
Okay.
at first it was having lessons with Coach Burt.
Okay.
When I tell you, everybody knew for a fact my backhand was A1 because I'm actually a lefty. So
Yes.
that was the easiest thing. And then drop shots. But
Yeah.
I couldn't volley to save my life. I was
No.
scared. I was scared. So me learning how to do drop shots, first off, I knew how to run everybody on the court. I don't care who you were about to sweat playing me.
Yes, yes,
And
and
then
yes.
everybody is told to hit to a backhand. Well, that is my favorite shot. So I'm cross court down the line. I'm hitting angles. I'm doing everything because that's my favorite part of tennis to do is
Mm-hmm.
backhand. So that was perfect. Me learning better off that. And so she had me do cross courts. I'm talking about short. I was playing on baby courts trying to hit that. When I played tournaments, I saw it differently.
Mm-hmm.
So everything came to ease. That was one. And then getting to college, Spiegel knew that I hated knew that I hated volleys and overheads. So he would make me stand at the net like this with the racket and hit as hard as he could. So that was my turning point because I had reflexes. I had to move out the way. It's either get hit or put your racket up.
Mm-hmm.
And that was another turning point because then it's just like, okay, now everything in my game is clicking. Put it all together, I'm unstoppable.
I definitely agree, man. I have hit against my sister so many times, and I will tell you, her placement, like some of it, I've added it to some of the lessons that I do with other players because like learning her placement like was sick. I mean, like it didn't make it's like how did you hit that? How did you create an angle from no angle? How do you create an angle from the center of the court? Like, and it was just it was like, and it was almost like paceless, which made it even worse because it came paceless with a bunch of spin. And so it was paceless, a bunch of spin. It came barely over the net. It landed really short at an angle and it was going off the court. By the time you got there, the ball was on the ground after the second bounce because it only came over, it hit the ground that high. Like, I hated that. So when she taught you that, I was like, look,
I loved it.
look, you go, you and if and we'll have Bert Cole on fairly soon, but
That's
anybody who
beautiful.
knows Bert Cole, a short like 5'3" lady.
Nah, no. I'm 5'3". She's shorter than me. Don't do that.
Oh
Sorry, Coach
Lord.
Brady, if you see this. Sorry. But
That lady right there, game, her mentality, her game style. Oh my gosh,
out
her
in this world.
her coaching method is stupid. Sorry. It was like, don't expect a water break or nothing.
I still have a whole water bottle after like an hour and I'm dying on the court. And she's like,
Dying.
okay, let's go. I used to try to walk to the balls to pick them up. She didn't care.
Nah. I remember going in and there's very few people who've had private lessons with her. So to have a private lesson with her was a big deal. It and y'all don't understand how, I mean, she got invited to be a Team USA coach and turned it down. The woman knows, she was like, oh, this is a great honor, but no, I got more to do with my program. So thank you guys, but offer it to somebody else. Maybe another time the opportunity comes. It's like, you got a chance to be a Team USA coach and said no?
This
What?
lady was playing me in sandals. And when I said I was the one running and I would try to make her run and she'll take 2 steps, kill the ball. And I'm just like, how? She is literally wearing sandals.
The ones with the
I don't
toes
know
out.
how. The ones with the toes out.
Yeah. 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 So I think that was wild. And I think she was definitely instrumental in my development. Even when I was in college, I came back my freshman year and I was like, look, I just need to fix my game. I think something's wrong. Like I played a really solid freshman year in college, but I need something's missing. Like I can hit 50 balls, but I feel like I'm just not getting the most out of it. She's like, all right, Jamel, when you come home. So I come home this day, I'll be home around like 4 or 5 o'clock. Well, you don't go home first. Come here. What? I'm driving 5.5 hours, and you want me to go from Oklahoma straight here? All right, cool. So I go, man. She goes, well, that's your problem. The ball ain't doing nothing. What should the ball like do? Like, what should it do? Like, it should go over the net, right? And she's like, watch this. So she's like, hit a ball, hit it as hard as you can. And I'm like, I'm not gonna hit the ball. I'm in college. Just hit the ball. You think you're gonna blow me off the court? Just hit the ball. So I hit the ball. She took one step forward. Boom! See, it doesn't do anything. Do it again. So now I'm getting frustrated. You're not gonna just hit my ball and just smack it off the court like that. So all right, woman. I'm trying to be nice. She just hit it. I hit it again. She step in. Boom! Other way. All
Effortless
right.
too.
Effortless. And she's like, your ball is fluff. Your ball has nothing behind it. It's just a bunch of spin and a bunch of fluff. And she changed my game. I think I did about 4 or 5 lessons that summer with her. And when I got back to school, oh, it was a whole different. I mean, I was teeing off on the ball so effortless that it just like, and I wasn't even breaking a sweat. I was winning these matches like 2-1, 2-0, 3-0, and I'm like I could go play a whole nother set, like, and I feel fresh because the points didn't last as long. And so I think what she did for your game with teaching you those angles, you frustrated the heck out of a lot of players.
It was that, and then me, I'm a sprinter. So
Yes.
I do like the 100. You tell me do a 400, I'm dead to the world. So she knew that she would. So just because I said she didn't get water breaks, she really did get water breaks, but she knew how to move my feet. So I wasn't that tired.
Right.
So she forced me to move my feet, forced me to do all this extra stuff and put it all together. So that was my thing because I didn't bend my knees. I'm like 5'2". I thought I was already at the ground. I didn't have to bend my knees. I'm not moving my feet because I thought I was overrunning the ball. So I'll take a late start and then go. But moving my feet and everything else just made it 10 times easier. And now I'm playing other people and it's just like, y'all tired? Right. Y'all really need a water break? That's how she got me ready.
I feel that. All right. Well, so. I'm gonna ask one question, and you can answer however you feel. What was there one thing that really just stopped you from playing tennis that you feel like was like a big detrimental factor that you want game time tennis in the community to know that people should maybe be aware of, or things like that? Was it a coaching thing that made you not want to play anymore? Was it an incident or several incidents or whatever the case may be? Because you had the game. Like I'm telling y'all now as a big brother, and I'm not boosting her. She had a game style that was scary, like scary. You would give any man or woman a run for their money. So what is it that you want other players to watch out for, be wary of, or just know When the game maybe comes to a close, maybe you don't go pro, maybe you don't, do whatever. Like, what would you like to tell them?
First off, that is the first time you actually admitted this. That was pretty good. So I'm glad this was recorded. I'm going to rewatch this. I think it was kind of two things. The first one was me being in Kansas. There were people who didn't like me playing tennis, not
Mm-hmm.
on the team, but in the community of where I
Mm-hmm.
was playing. So I was getting stalked, I was getting threatened, and I had no idea because me, I'm just being to myself. As y'all can see, I have headphones in. That's literally all I did in college. Is literally all I do now. If you know me, I 99% of the time have headphones in. Um, so people didn't like that, would threaten me, will follow me to Walmart, will show up at the movies. And it's just like, I felt like I couldn't do anything. And yes, my school definitely had security around me once they found out all of this. But I don't know, that took a turn mentally for me. And then I just wasn't, I just wasn't in it as much because, like I said, that took a turn mentally. Then my body was aching, but I don't even think I was doing the right things to keep my body ready for tennis. So
Mm-hmm.
I always was getting hurt. I'm talking about looking like the Michelin man, iced up everywhere. And then after that, it was just like, am I burnt out? Because you have to realize I said I've been playing since I was 4. And if you know tennis, you know it's year round. So I was not taking breaks whatsoever. Um, so I think both of those, and I just kind of got burnt out. But now it's just, I miss tennis.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go out there and hit, but I kind of messed up my shoulder, so I shouldn't be hitting. Still though, it's a forever life thing. But that's really the main thing that kind of just took me out.
Mm-hmm. And I would say, for me, injuries, tennis is a grind. Like there's no off season, like other sports. And yes, I know people say, "Oh, we don't take breaks," but there is difference between training and tournaments. Almost every weekend, or every other weekend, or every 2-3 weekends, you're playing another tournament. And like just playing in the AAU circuit for a summer. Like people say,
Mm.
okay, I play year round. I may play AAU basketball all summer long. And all it is practice 2-3 days, then a tournament. Practice 2-3 days for that weekend, then a tournament, whatever. You know, and yes, that could take a toll on your body, but tennis is just as demanding. And for us as tennis players, you if you want to get to a certain level, you're not just training an hour. Heck, you might not even just be training 2 hours. There's players that train 6 to 8 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week.
Especially because a match has no time limit.
And then a turn, and then you got 5 or 6 timeouts in basketball game. Boom, 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 boom. You got subs. Some people play 40 minutes. So don't get me wrong. There are some
Yeah.
very competitive guys. There's football players that some players play both sides of the field. Um, but you got a sub. You have the option. Ain't no option. It's
At
you.
all.
Um, what was your longest match?
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. I think I had one that was close to like 5 hours. And it
I've
was with
had it.
add-ins and everything too. And
Yeah,
we did tiebreaker.
yeah. I think mine was like 4 hours, and I'm like right 450, 4 hours 50
Yeah.
minutes, something like that. What do you feel after that? Like how what goes through your
Hungry,
mind?
tired. Oh, I could take a break. You know, water breaks are what was it, 60 seconds, 90
I
seconds?
think it's 90 something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you really just have time to go up a few and then get back on the court. So right after that match, it was just like I need to go take a shower and I'm gonna be knocked out for 24 hours.
I will tell you like this. I remember my longest match. And then after I played it, I was in the quarterfinals. So won the quarterfinals.
Still had another one.
And I have another match.
Mm-hmm.
And they give me an hour to recover at max. What? What? Like I'm holding up the whole tournament. What?
Oh yeah, I've done that. I've done that.
How long do you need? 30 minutes, 45 minutes?
30 minutes. You want to go
30.
take a bite really fast? And I'm like,
Right.
Excuse me? At this point, just put me on. Because if I calm down, it sucks. So let's just get started.
Let's just get
then
started.
You got to re-warm up with the new person. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I think tennis can be extremely demanding for people who don't know. It can be demanding. Hey Nya, thank you so much. What are your final remarks for anybody going into tennis or playing tennis or looking into college? What would you say to them and the Game Time tennis community that may help them in the future or even now?
When a person gets on the court, don't automatically think, oh, they're better than me. Look how they're dressed. Don't think that. You know exactly what you can do. It's literally a mental game.
Mm-hmm.
They can miss one major point to them. It's over for them, but you are now mentally up. So make sure your mental game is definitely strong. Definitely. And I mean, in tennis, out of tennis, overall. Make sure that is that, because that has definitely helped me. So you're mentally strong in tennis. You can take that to the real world. You can take that in college classes. Because everybody knows there's probably one or two classes in college that you just like, oh, how? What do you expect from me? But again, mentally tough. So that is the number one thing I can say.
I can definitely agree to that. And speaking of being mentally tough, if you guys have not seen, I have an ebook that will attack your mental focus. Would you say it was a great read? And you could be honest, don't worry.
No, it was definitely a great read. I didn't want to read it in front of him. I purchased it in front of him and everything, but I actually waited that night and it was like, okay, he's away. I don't know, how's life right now? Okay, I can use a little, mental push. So I read it and I was like, man, I know I just built something. Let's go to the garage and build something again, or let's go skateboard. I don't know how to skateboard that good, but it's like, boom, I got energy to want to push in life.
Bingo.
And it was something so simple, something like not a long read. It was just a quick motivation.
That's it. Well, hey man, Game Time Tennis, thank you so much. Hey man, if you enjoyed that interview, leave a like down below, like, comment, and subscribe. You have seen nothing yet. The next interview is with a very good friend of mine on the tour, top 800 in the world. Has only been on the tour for pretty much about a year and a half. Stupid talent. Can't wait to see him kill the top 200 with his amazing talent and his grit and grace. So man, hey, if you're not subscribed, you're gonna miss that video, and that video is a banger too, man. Hey, check the ebook out. Check the ebook out. It's in the description. It's 99 cents. Go find you 99 pennies and go get to it. It's mental focus here, baby. Go get it done. Love y'all. Peace.